Hello and welcome to our channel. Thanks for stopping by to check us out. We do appreciate it. This is the show where we like to give you our rating first and then talk about the things we did and did not like about the movie we just watched. Today's movie is The Farewell, the indie film starring Awkwafina. So, we saw it. Did you guys see it? What did you think? Because we are letting you know in 3, 2, 1, see it.
Wait for it.
Now, while I do think, or at least I do feel that this is indie filmmaking of the highest order, I will say that it's not for everyone, but I did find this film to be both very funny, very moving, and there was at one point I was almost emotionally crushed at one point.
Yeah, I think that crushed everybody though.
Okay, so The Farewell. A little background on this film. It's a film that is being marketed as based on a true lie. So what happens is that the grandmother of a family who lives in China is diagnosed with cancer. Her sister protects her from this information, so her sister knows that she has cancer, but the actual grandmother doesn't know. The family...
You're just talking so fast right now.
The family doesn't want to tell the grandmother that she has cancer because they want to spare her the burden of knowing that she doesn't have long left to live. They feel like the more you stress about it, the faster death will come. So they take it upon themselves to carry the burden of knowing the grandmother has cancer to spare her of knowing that she doesn't have long left to live. So I guess with the hopes of that she'll live the remaining years of her life happy and healthy until, she's on her last couple of months, which then
I think they say it's 3 months. I think they gave her 3 months.
Was it 3 months? I couldn't remember if it's 3 months or 3 years.
No, because if it was 3 years, they didn't have to go that quickly. They found out and the whole family just picked up and went.
So she's given 3 months essentially to live. And so the family then plans this fake wedding to bring everyone together to have a farewell party for the grandmother. So with that, the core of the film is the moral dilemma of do we or do we not tell the grandmother, and what are the arguments for telling her and what are the arguments for not telling her. Mm-hmm. And that's the driving force of this film. And what the director does is that she balances both the comedy and heart with the drama. The drama doesn't swallow the comedy and the comedy doesn't overshadow the drama. Mm-hmm. It's very well balanced. It takes a very deft hand to do what this director did. There's moments, as other people have described it, you're laughing your ass off, and the very next moment you want to cry. None of it feels misplaced. None of it feels misguided. It feels perfectly in balance with one another, which is the main reason why I say see it. But a little later we'll get into it might not be for everybody. So Sam, you get one thing. What is the one thing that your favorite thing about this film? Off the top of your head, you get one thing. What's your favorite thing?
Awkwafina. She was very surprising drama actress.
Yep.
I did not think she was going to be able to pull that off, but she pulled it off and some.
Yeah, that whole scene with her talking about her mom and moving to America and her not knowing what was going on when she was a kid. It was one of those scenes that's a perfect demonstration of you're kind of laughing in the previous scene and then all of a sudden you're being devastated by this next scene. Mm-hmm. And Awkwafina 100% shocked me with her performance in this movie. My favorite part of the film was absolutely the grandmother. There was no one who was more charming or more likable in this film than that grandmother. Mm-hmm. From the first time that we see her with the whole family, and she essentially just goes around the whole table and just talks smack to just everyone at the table in her family. Just it's reminiscent of when we feel like our grandparents get old, and then they just it's almost like this some switch flips. And it's they just say whatever they want to say. There is no holding back.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's very much this grandmother in the film. Nai essentially is what they call her. Nai just gets, she's not afraid to speak her mind and say whatever she wants to say, which is what makes her charming. And which also, because she's so charming, is what makes the moral dilemma of this movie so sad. Mm-hmm. So, with that, Sam, do you have a favorite scene?
The one that you said was a very good one, but I think something that I enjoyed that pops up into my head is when she's going to the venue to talk to the cook about what's for dinner, and he said that it was crab, and she has this like mini grandma meltdown, and she's like, no, but I wanted lobster, and it's this whole big thing.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that is another one of those scenes where it's like little comedy moments peppered in, and it's visual. It's visual as much as it is dialogue comedy. Like in that particular scene you're talking about, the one woman who's the host of the party, or maybe she's the party planner. She's like, hey, she like screams at somebody, and all of a sudden you see someone like lean up from the chairs. They're clearly laying down. Looks like they were sleeping. And then they go and get the cook. It looks like it all takes place from one shot.
Yeah.
It's very visual in his comedy when it needs to be very visual, and it's very witty in his comedy when it needs to be witty. My favorite scene is the scene at the dinner table, which is the first scene with the whole family together. And the grandmother is saying how she's going to plan the wedding. She needs to go to the banquet hall to talk to the party planner. And the family's like, oh, we'll help you. And like everyone that says like, I want to help you. They're like, no, you're too tired. You can't help me. Like, I'll rest tonight. No, it's not going to work. And then like the son's like, no, Ma, I'll go with you tomorrow. She goes, look at your face. It's not right. You can't help me. And she just goes around and just gives these little barbs to everyone around the table. And the whole scene is pretty much an embodiment. It pretty much encompasses everything about the film. It encompasses how sad everyone is about being there. Mm-hmm. It encompasses the moral dilemma, the comedy, both the visual comedy with her. You know, even when she's sitting down and grandma's grabbing Aquafina's butt, she's like, I always like grabbing your little butt.
That was funny.
It was hysterical. Again, why this grandmother is an amazing character. Mm-hmm. She was absolutely charming and fantastic. So, with that said, let's get into the things that we didn't like. So, I will start. The thing that I didn't like, or at least it's not that I didn't like it, but I'm not someone that is typically into deliberately slow-paced films. Mm-hmm. I have a hard time with deliberately slow-paced films. I will go ahead and admit that. They're not always for me. One of the few that I actually do like and don't have a problem revisiting is something like Lost in Translation. This falls into that category. This might be a film that down the line I could revisit, but it is in that same tone and atmosphere as something like Lost in Translation. It is also, I didn't have a problem with subtitles. I went into this movie completely cold, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be American spoken or subtitled, and they actually do a good mix of the both.
They did do a good mix. I mean, it was kind of a bummer that half of the subtitles were cut off.
Yeah, our theater had subtitles cut off, which was too bad. They didn't have the aspect ratio right on the projector. But I have a harder time with deliberately slow-paced films. It is a similar issue that I had with I believe it was last year's Hereditary. One that was a little too slow for my taste, and I think that will be the barrier for some people to get into this film, is how slow it does move. Yeah.
I just think it was just one of those indie films that just wasn't for me. Like you said, it was a little bit slow, it was a little bit, it was never confusing. The storyline was very straightforward, and I liked that. I thought it was a way for it.
Yeah.
That's really it.
No, and I will say that another scene that I really did like, and one of the ones that emotionally hit me really hard, was the scene with the grandmother waving to the taxi.
I think that hit everybody.
That one pretty much was a rush of emotions.
Yeah, that one was really hard to watch.
I welled up a little bit at that scene. But I mean, that's part of the beauty of the film. Mm-hmm. So, that's it for me. All right. That is it for us. There will be no video this weekend. So the next film we won't be able to get to see for about 2 weeks. So not this weekend. The following weekend we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Okay. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe if you would like to see more, because we have more coming. So we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. See you next time, guys.